copy everything from Yoga. So.
Okay, well, I'm going live, so we're recording.
Okay.
Translate everything. Okay, what are we reading today? Chapter 41. So remember what happened in chapter 40?
Yeah.
So they're withholding the attack. Nunc duces principes quae nerviorum, qui aliquem sermones aditum calsam amicitiae cum cicerone habebat. Colloqui se velle dicunt. Notice this word aditum, just it's not a particularly common word, but if we break it down to its core parts, like ad is a prefix, the I is the sort of stem there, and the tum is the prefix, or I'm sorry, the suffix. So what's the root word of this? If it's just that I.
I have no idea.
It is ire. August yelled from the other room, ire. Yeah, and these are like difficult to notice because they are so short. So essentially, ire to go, and we have odd, which to go towards, and then the tus ending really relates to the suffine, but it's just it's a fourth conjugation. I just went off the page. It's a fourth conjugation noun. No, fourth declension noun. So to go towards, make that a noun.
Like a journey or like traveling?
Yeah, but what part of the journey do you go towards something?
Like the destination?
Yeah, or an approach.
Okay.
And sometimes it can be meaning, beginning as well. So, tunc duces principes quae, then who are the duces principes quae?
The leaders,
Yeah,
like the
leaders and the princes, we might say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nerviorum.
Is that like a group of people?
This is
like a tribe or something?
And this is the principal tribe where Cicero's legion is stationed, and they're the principal ones attacking. So Ambiorix convinced the Nervi, who are another one of these Belgian tribes, to rebel against the Romans. And so the leaders and the princes of the Nervi, qui aliquem sermonis aditum calsamque amicitiae. Aliquem aditum, some what do we say?
Approach.
Sermonis. What case is
yeah. Conversation.
Yeah. And it's genitive.
Of the conversation, approach.
Yeah, an approach of the conversation. Some approach of conversation, like they already have those who already had some sort of approach of conversation, meaning that they had some sort of like dialogue already with Cicero. They also had calsam amicitia. Cum cicerone.
Causam, like
What does it look like?
cause,
Of
friendship.
friendship. So, and once we get to our verb here, we can see that both of these, some sort of approach and a cause of friendship, both of these, the approach and the cause, are the direct objects of that.
Okay.
They have a approach of speech and a cause of friendship, both cum cicerone, with Cicero. And that's a relative clause there. So the leaders of the Nervi, what do? Say well a decunt.
So they have a conversation.
Well, they decunt well a.
Like
They say that they want to have a conversation.
okay.
They say that they wish to speak, presumably with Cicero.
Mhm.
And you notice that this here, we have two infinitives, vale and colloquy. Both of these, this is all part of a indirect statement, right? It's what they say. They say they wish to speak. And say there's a accusative subject of that indirect. Okay. Facta potestate. What is that?
Once the ability with or like
Yeah, no,
Is
the power
okay.
having been made. So what grammatical or syntactical structure is that?
Is it an ablative absolute?
It is.
Okay.
So we have the potestas, the power having been made or having been given. And notice here that what this is describing is that they want to speak. So they say that they want to speak, and after this was given, after this was conceded, right? The power having been given to talk. Eandem quae ambiorix cum titorio egererat commemorerunt. They relate. What do they relate? Them. They relate. Anytime you see that dem suffix, always means the same.
Okay.
And here the same things. Well, what are the same things? The same things apply.
That ambiorix like
now,
had
look here, it has like ago agere, classically to do or drive, but
had done.
Yeah, the sense here is had said, and sometimes ago agere can mean to like relate, to say. One of those verbs that like context, but you could translate as that he had done.
Okay.
They related the same things which ambiorix had done or had related.
With Titus.
With Titurius. Now,
with
who is
Titurius? Yeah. Sabinus.
That's Sabinus.
Yeah.
Exactly. So essentially what this is saying is that the Nervi go and try the same thing that that Ambiorix says. And then in case we don't remember, they're going to tell us. Caesar will relate. What was it that Ambiorix said? Omnem esse armi scaliam. And notice here, because this is what they're relating, this is going to be an indirect statement.
Okay.
Which is why we have our infinitive verb and our accusative subject, which is omnem Gallia.
So all of Gaul was in arms, so like fighting.
Yep.
The Germans
Okay, so break off the prefix.
is that like I'm trying to think of the right word.
It's just the same as up here.
Oh, like yeah, approach.
Yeah, except that instead of going towards, what is this? Going
They're like across.
had gone across, and this is our perfect infinitive. So so I guess technically all of Gaul was in arms. The Germans had crossed. This has already happened.
Okay.
Had
The
crossed
Rhine.
the Rhine.
Yeah.
Saris relinquorum que hiberna abpugnari. Another infinitive here, but here it's a passive infinitive.
Okay.
On the counter somewhere. Hiberna, that's our.
A winter camp, right?
Yep. Oh, and yeah, and I would say keep it plural, although the difficult thing is Hiberna is always plural. So whether it's one winter camp or two winter camps, it's already plural. So, but
Okay.
here, the sense is that with this relinquorum, it's plural. So the winter camps, Nari.
Is that like under attack?
Yeah. Yeah, they are under attack. They are being attacked. Again, they're not doing it. It's passive, so they're not doing it. It's being done to them. What winter camps? Relinquorum.
That is like relinquished.
The relinquished, which just means the remaining.
Okay.
Relinquo, as opposed to relinquish in English, carries a very distinct meaning of like abandonment or something like that.
Okay.
In Latin, relinquo is just to leave behind. So the remaining winter core, let's see, the winter camps of the remaining Caesaris.
Of Caesar?
Caesar. Of the remaining, perhaps elite, we could say the remaining legions implied here. So they relate three things. And this, again, to remember that this is the Nervi going to Cicero saying all of Gaul was in arms, which again is a lie, but it worked against Sabinus and Coda. The Germans had crossed the Rhine, and that all the remaining winter camps are being attacked. Ad sunt etiam. What is this? Ad unt. I said ad sunt. It's not. It's ad unt.
It says where did it? Oh, they say in addition.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I think about auto adere. The root word is to do dare, to give. Auto is to give towards. So to add. They also
Okay.
add de sabini mortue. So in addition to what Ambiorix had said before, they also add about morte sabini.
Sabinus's death.
Yeah, Sabinus's death. Ambiorigem ostendant fidei faciendae causa. Ostendat Ambiorigem.
They show off Ambiorix's
Yeah, causa. Now this causa with a gerundive is showing purpose. Why do they show him off? Causa.
to
Facio facere. And this is the gerundive of facio facere. To make.
that to make their like cause.
Yeah, what's fides?
Like a faith honored.
Right. So in order to make faith,
Okay.
for the sake of making faith, they even show off Ambiorix. Like, see, here's even proof that Sabinus had died and that all of Gaul was up in arms. Errare eos dicunt. Dicunt eos errare. Dicunt.
They say
And then this is what they say.
that is that like
This is just from Isaiah id. Just
yeah, okay.
here it's working as the subject of our indirect statement. I mean, a very short indirect statement. What do they say? They say that they
is that like wander like a row, or is that
yeah, so technically yes.
okay?
But the sense here is what modern word do we get from this?
I have no idea.
Just take off the ending. They say that they err.
Oh, okay.
The base meaning of errare is to wander, but there's a secondary meaning, which is to err, to be wrong.
Okay.
They say that they err. See if quid quam ab his praesidii speret. If parent
they hope, if hope,
quid quam. Yeah, and quid quam praesidii. Quid quam is like anything, and it's anything of praesidium is of protection.
like, yeah.
Peace.
For or to them?
Not to them, but from them.
From them. Okay.
They hope in anything of protection from them. Qui
that
suis rebus defidant.
They were
yeah,
word mistrusted.
Yeah, who mistrust, who don't trust. Suis rebus. and this is just in these things,
Okay.
matters. They say that those ones err who hope in anything of aid from them, who mistrust in these things. And this again is still what they're saying. Say, hoc esse in Ciceronem populumque Romanum animo.
So,
The say is referring to the Nervi here, and that's our subject.
so they,
Essay in
in,
And so now we're having to lure them into space.
in spirit.
yeah, they're in this spirit, this mind. And if you say they're in this mind, it means that they intend that, like, that's how they feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're in this mind in Ciceronem populum Romanum quae.
In Cicero's
And
the like Roman population.
yeah, the Roman people. The Nervi are of this mind. And what sort of mind are they? How do they feel about Cicero and the Roman people? Ut nihil nisi hiberna recuset, atque hoc invitescere consuetudinem nolent. So this is how they feel about the Cicero and the Roman people, that
Nothing.
recuset is like to blame.
So there's nothing to blame
Nisi hiberna.
of the Roman camp or of the winter camps.
Yeah, except Nisi is except.
Except, oh, okay. So they're only blaming the Roman camps or the winter camps.
Yeah, their only complaint is about the winter quarters. And remember that the problem with the winter quarters that we found out early on was that there's a famine right now, and there's not enough grain to go around. And so the winter quarters are taking grain and support.
Mm-hmm.
So they have nothing except for the winter quarters to blame, and nolent
to refuse.
yeah, or just to not want.
Okay.
Hanc consuetudinem. Consuetudo is a custom, a habit.
This, you said it was like a habit?
A habit, yeah.
Okay. This habit.
An odd word. It's down below, but
okay.
If you're having trouble with this, the root here is veteris.
Like veteran?
Like veteran.
Okay.
It means old, right? So, but it's a verb, and this is what's technically called an incipient verb. It like shows the beginning of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then in as the prefix. So it means to become old.
Okay.
To become customary, right? So they don't want this custom to become the new normal.
Okay.
This custom that they're objecting to.
The like winter camps, right? Or yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, this is what they say, and again, it's a lie, but they're saying, yeah, we love we love you, Cicero. We love the Romans. The only thing we don't like is the fact that you are like setting up this town and taking all of the grain during the winter. And we don't want this to become like this every year thing. Licere illis incolumibus. This incolumes means unhurt.
Okay.
One of those words, it's an interesting word that like we don't really have any derivatives from, and
Mhm.
it's hard to remember often, but it actually occurred in Ecce Romani 1, way like in like, chapter 10 or something like that.
Mhm.
Anyway, it means unhurt. Licere illis incolumibus per se exhibernis descedere. Again, infinitive because it is indirect discourse. It's what they're still saying. They're saying licere.
To allow, or
Yeah, and maybe just it is allowed. Keep it
it is allowed.
as the impersonal.
Okay. That, or
Dative to them.
okay. So to allow them to that was be like unhurt.
Mm-hmm. Descedere. That's our. It is allowed for them unhurt. Descedere. You remember what descedere means?
No.
You remember what cadere means?
Oh, it's like abandoned, right?
It descedere, to abandon, or maybe just to depart.
Okay.
It could be to abandon, but here just like to depart. Cato cadere, really important verb to remember, just because there's so many words that come from this, like Cato, and it comes into English with the CEDE, right? Like seed, reseed, intercede. I don't know. We don't get disseed. No, I don't think so. But in any case, it's to depart, to go away. I don't think comes from that. I think that comes from something else, but I'm not sure what.
Okay.
It is allowed for them unhurt to depart per se
By themselves?
through themselves.
Through themselves.
And it should be noted that the illies and the say are different people.
Okay.
So who's the illies?
The people at the camps?
Yeah, this is the Romans.
Okay.
It's allowed for the Romans to depart unhurt. Per se, who's the say?
Is that the people attacking them?
Yeah, that's the Nervi.
Okay.
Say the Nervi, you could say the Belgians, because the Nervi are one of the Belgians.
Okay.
So specifically, it's the Nervi. So it is allowed for them to depart unhurt through them ex hibernis.
From the winter camps.
From the winter camps. At quascunque in partes velant sine metu proficisci. And proficisci is a synonym for descedere.
Okay.
Well, I guess descedere means to depart. Proficisci would be to set out. So I guess
So it's
total synonyms, but they're close.
Okay.
So and they're allowed
to depart.
Sine met. Yeah, I guess. Metu says fear.
Without fear?
Without fear. In quascunque partes velant. Maybe all together. I was trying to do the preposition, but in quascunque whatever.
Yeah, whatever. In part.
Into whatever part. The quascunque is describing.
Okay.
Into whatever part
they wanted, they wished,
They wished. And what does it mean part here?
like wherever they wanted to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And we saw this with Ambiorix, right? Ambiorix said, hey, you could go to Cicero's camp, or you could go to Labienus's camp, wherever you guys want to go. You guys can depart and we won't attack you, right? So there's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. You can depart from the winter camps and go wherever you want. Now, what do Sabinus and Coda's legion, what do?
They already left.
They left, and then Ambiorix ambushed them. So the Nervi are under sort of Ambiorix's prompting. They're trying to do exactly the same thing. It is, they attacked, and then they said, hey, and then when the attack didn't work, they came and said, hey, we really like you. We just all Gauls up in arms, and the Germans are coming, and all of this. But we really do like you. So if you want to leave the camp, we won't attack you. And of course, their plan is to ambush the Romans as soon as they leave the camp. But let's see what. So, and it worked for Sabinus and Coda's. But here's Cicero. Cicero ad haec unum modum respondit. I love the sort of terseness of this, right? Cicero responded.
Cicero responds.
Ad haec.
To them, or
literally it's neuter, so to these things, what they said.
Okay.
But you could say them. Unum modo. Modo only. Unum.
Only one? Once?
One. Only one thing. He responds one thing only to them. Non esse consuetudinem populi Romani accepere ab hoste armata conditionem.
And
so again, indirect discourse, because it's what he responds.
So no, nothing.
Oh, not nothing. It was not.
It was not. Okay.
We saw this consuetudo in the last section. What was that?
Trying to remember.
It's a custom.
Oh, right. Yeah. So a custom.
It was not the custom.
It was not the custom
Romani
of the Romans
accepere
to accept
ab hoste armata
to the from the enemy's army.
Just take this as an adjective and keep it singular.
The enemy.
And what sort of enemy? An armed
enemy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was not the custom of the Roman people to accept from an armed enemy conditionem.
This, like, an arrangement.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, or we can just keep it with the synonym, right? Or we get the word condition from.
Okay.
So they come and say, hey, we really like you if you just leave the winter camps. And he says, yeah, it's not the custom of the Roman people to accept a condition from an armed enemy. He ob armis de scedere velent.
Wish.
If they wish.
If they wish.
What do we say de scedere was? Remember the cadere?
Oh, is that like to depart or
ob army
from the army?
from arms.
From arms.
Which if when we say to depart from arms, what he's really saying is if they wanted to put down their weapons, se adiutore utantur. Now, this utantur, utor, uti, to use, and it always takes it. One, it's a deponent, and two, it always takes the ablative, which is what we have here.
Okay.
And this, and actually say idutor, both of that is ablative. And idutor is a helper.
Okay.
So if they wish to depart from arms, then they could use, say, adutore.
A helper?
They could use
Like-
him as a helper. Now the
Oh.
say, that's referring back to Cicero.
Okay.
Yeah. So I love this response. This is just like brilliant. So like there's that joke in movies where where I don't know, the good guy's surrounded and the enemy says surrender. I think it's actually from Princess Bride. Surrender.
Yeah.
Your surrender. Right. Well, that's pretty much what Cicero. They've attacked him and it's been really tough, these like multiple days of attacks. And then they come and say, hey, we'll let you go for free. And Cicero's one response is, well, we don't accept conditions, but if you want to put down your arms, that is, if you want to surrender to us, you can use me as a helper. I'll help you out. And I will and they could send legatos, messengers, ad Caesarem.
To Caesar.
Caesar. Like if you want to beg for mercy from Caesar, I will stand there and help you out. Like that's how generous.
All right.
This is not the response that they were looking for. Ferrare pro eius justitia quae petierent imperatoros.
Is that obtain?
Yeah, they might obtain, right? And the implication here is the essay, right?
Yeah.
But really our main verb is the sperare. So they, not that they would obtain, but they could hope.
Cope. Yeah.
Obtain. Pro eius justitia. What's justitia?
Justice.
Yeah, his justice, eius justitia. And pro, for his, they might
His
obtain
justice.
for his justice.
Right.
And what do they want to obtain? Quae
Well,
petierent. Peto petere petivi petitus. Is to seek.
Okay. So they seek
What quae petierent, what they seek.
what
And
they
this
seek.
might obtain. Like if they put down their arms, they could use him as a helper and send legate messengers to Caesar. They could hope to obtain that they might obtain from his justice that which they sought. So and presumably what they're seeking is peace. I guess maybe this is the implication is that Caesar could move the winter quarters or something like that. But Cicero is saying, yeah, no, we don't take this. What do you think the Nervi's response then is going to be?
To attack them, probably.
They're certainly not very happy about this, and we see this almost. We don't get their response, but we get what they do. Ob hoc spe, repulsi, nervi, kingunt. Kingo kingaries to circle. They
Mhm.
encircle Hiberna,
The camp
wallow. And this is what they encircle the camp with.
themselves.
No, a wallum. And this is
Oh,
what
a wall. A wall. Right.
pedum novem et falsa pedum quindecim.
So
With a wall that is 90 feet tall.
19.
And
And a ditch that's
15 feet.
15 feet. Okay.
A ditch of 15 feet. And this is these are what we sort of, when you besiege a city, an ancient city, you would often I have defensive walls, but you also have like counter walls. And so in some cases, there was this crazy in some cases they would try to outbuild the other. And there's this crazy example in the Peloponnesian War where the Athenians were besieging Syracuse and they were trying to build a counter wall, and the Syracusans, yeah, the people of Syracuse were then trying to outbuild, it was almost like a race to the wall. I guess the similar thing happened with ditches or trenches in World War One, where there was like this race to try and outflank the other with trenches.
Yeah.
Essentially what's happening here is that the Belgians are now built a counter wall, a siege wall around the camp. So we have now the Romans have their wall and their trench, although their trench got filled in. They at least have their wall, and then the Belgians have a counter wall. So anyway, we'll read that next time.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
And I will see you hopefully tomorrow.